seconds.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to On the Pipe Podcast. Today is Tuesday, March 15th, 2022, and I'm your host, as always, Tyler Shepardson, and I will be joined in just a few moments by Stu Baylor Jr., the co-host of OTP's Weekend Review with Stu. I know we are a day late. I may end up having to change these things. I may end up having to bump OTP2 on a OTP Tuesday on a Wednesday to actually being on Wednesday and doing the weekend reviews on Tuesday. I'm up in the air the last couple weeks. That's just how we've had to do it. So I apologize that we are a day late, but I appreciate you listening nonetheless. Trying my best to get these things out to you. And Stu, he's got a lot of stuff going on as well. So we're trying to get these things out to you. Sorry we are a day late. We're going to work on that in the future to figure out if you can expect it on Tuesday evenings or if you can expect it on Monday evenings. Nevertheless, it is happening. We're going, and it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. We got a great show coming at you. We talk about all sorts of stuff. We got a couple of really good, really funny stories on tonight's episode, and then we also got a little bit of a giveaway going on in the show. So I'm not going to post that giveaway on social media at all. It's going to be an exclusive to the listeners of On the Pipe Podcast. I can't talk tonight, apparently. First, before we get things started, I want to say a big thank you to our friends over at Beta Motorcycles. Beta Motorcycles is the official manufacturer of On the Pipe Podcast. Beta Motorcycles has been family-owned and operated since 1905. They manufacture the finest enduro, trials, and dual sport motorcycles that are known for their premium quality and rideability. Beta Motorcycles are the best-looking bikes on the market and back it up with their superior performance. Head over to betausa.com for more information on their available models or to find a dealer near you to get yours today. So, I am excited. This weekend will be my first time back on a bike, and it will be on my Beta 300RR. So next week, I will have plenty to report to you on as far as that is concerned and the rideability of my Beta motorcycle. Check them out, betausa.com, and also on Instagram at betausa. I'm stoked for it. Can't wait to ride it. Can't wait to see what is going on this weekend at the Full Gas Sprint Enduro Series. It is at GTR Complex, so I will be down there. Stu Baylor is hosting a riding school on Friday and Saturday, so if you want more information on that, go check out his profile or the Full Gas profile, or, you know what I mean, maybe keep listening to this episode. You might find something out. Also want to give a big shout out to our friends over at Armored Graphics. Find them online at armoredgraphics.com or on the socials at Armored Graphics. They have top-notch quality designs, top-notch quality product, and top-notch quality customer service. So, longtime supporters of the show, you make sure you are using promo code OTP20 when you order on armorgraphics.com, and it will save you 20% off of your graphics purchase. We got a big week coming at you. This is show number 98. Tomorrow will be OTP Tuesday on a Wednesday. That will be show 99, which means we are paving the way for show 100. We got to do something big. We got to do something bold. We got to do something that everyone will love. I just haven't decided what that is yet. So hopefully it will be something cool because 100 episodes, that's pretty cool. Now, I lost a bunch of episodes at some point. The thing that I used to host the podcast, and it kind of pushes it out, at one point, it decided to reset itself, so I lost a big portion of my catalog and all the stats that went along with that. So, according to the stats now, it is about to be the 100th episode, and the way that the numbers are looking in the downloads that we get per show, it looks like our 100th episode will also break that 100,000 downloads mark, which is cool, and all the more reason to do something big. So, stay tuned for that. Hopefully I'll figure something out between now and next week to make that something special. But until that happens, enjoy tonight's episode. I guess now we're gonna go live to everyone's favorite pit reporter, Stu Baylor. Stu, what'd you see on the weekend, man?
Well, there was a race, I think. I mean, I almost could have called it before the start as far as XC1, as far as the lead position there. Yeah, there was a little bit more behind the scenes. I guess we got to see a couple different passes, and XC2 was fun. But, yeah, it was there was a dirt bike race.
Man, so I guess what I'm wondering is you went around, did a little pit reporting. You asked Ben Kelly, hey, if you're winning by a couple minutes, why don't you just slow down a little bit? I saw Josh Strang giving him a pit board out in the woods and said, hey, slow down. Why do you think Ben Kelly's not listening to anybody?
I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know. Clearly,
it's pretty rude.
He has a problem hearing. My wife says I have the same problem, so I can't say anything, obviously. But, yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out because everybody wants him to slow down. And I told him, as soon as you get the lead, do a wheel change. Like make a mechanical. I don't care what you got to do. Tire swap. Make it like ISD. However you want to play it. I was like, we need that. Like, whatever you want to do. But clearly, he's not listening. So, I guess all we can hope for at this point is that Toth and Ashburn figure out the third hour.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like his lap times are drastically changing at the end of the race. Theirs are. So, when I'm looking at it, all we have to hope for is that those boys will figure out the third hour so we can have entertaining racing again. Because at this point, I'm thinking about possibly going to. I think my wife said something about there's a IndyCar race or something at the next GNCC during the next GNCC. So we might end up going to that instead of the race, just because. Well, to be honest, I at least want to see some battles.
Man, so Toth was running first and second in the first two races, and then ended up dropping back down by the end of the race. And now this weekend, he puts it all together, gets second place. And I know in one of the first one of these things that we did, one of the questions I asked you is Josh Toth or Craig DeLong, who gets their first win first? And both of those guys were on the podium, second and third. You said then that it'd be Craig DeLong. Are you still thinking that, or do you think Toth might sneak one off before that? And what's it going to take for anybody not named Ben Kelly to win?
At this point, a lot. I mean, just being honest, just being blunt, like it's going to take a lot. Now, can somebody else win? Absolutely. It's going to take Ben making some mental errors or having a bike failure. Just being blunt. I mean, yeah, obviously anything can happen. He can get sick, whatever. But like, that's what it's going to take. The guys right now are not riding like Ben. Ben is on an absolutely different level. He's not just fast. He's smart. He's precise. He's in shape. He's got the full package. So, when I'm sitting back and looking I mean, nothing against Josh. Like, Josh's a phenomenal racer. Ricky, I don't think that fish is going to go down the sink. Sorry, we're having a fish fry. We're trapped a little bit late tonight because, well, Ricky had to go and get himself caught up by the SCDNR. So our fish fry turned out to be much more pricey than we expected tonight.
I saw y'all getting busted by wildlife under a bridge, man. What are y'all doing?
Well, we saw some water. I haven't been able to get out of the house much lately. I decided that I wanted to fish, and, well, I screwed my buddies over in the process. So Ricky and Bubs did not get South Carolina fishing licenses, and that is apparently frowned upon, especially when you're trespassing.
So what happened? Was the officer just driving by over the bridge and saw you guys?
Well, we were catching more fish than the guys on the other side of the river, and
They
pretty
called
sure
it
he
in.
called us in. Because when we went back over to the other side of the river, the legal side of the river, he was nowhere to be found, and he was waving and chatting with the officer whenever the officer was out there. So if I had to imagine, old boy across the water did not like that we were wearing him out and that he wasn't. But we're having a fish fry tonight, and he's not. So did it cost us more? Absolutely. But, you know, we're still getting to enjoy it. So we're eating perch and white bass, and he is probably at home still hiding, waiting for us to come find him.
He probably stopped at the grocery store and bought some tilapia.
Yeah, he had to tell his wife something. But to be honest, we did not catch enough fish to actually have a full fish fry, so we had to do the same thing, but don't tell Jill.
Your secret's safe with me, man. Don't worry.
Yeah. She's like, oh, 3 hours of fishing. Did you guys bring anything home? As I'm cooking, it's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm cooking a full meal. Yeah, babe, absolutely. That's why we fish so late. We got caught by the DNR and had to run by the grocery store.
Yeah, these couple other ones, we caught them straight out of the river, already filleted. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it's funny. They didn't have skin, scales, or heads on them. It's very odd, but they were here. Here they are. Look at that. So no, we're having just a grand old time.
So back to the thing. I know we kind of got off track talking about Ben Kelly again, but Toth or Craig? Are you still sticking firm with Craig's got the best shot to get his first win first?
I mean,
or are you changing things up?
Toth is a phenomenal rider. Don't get me wrong. Toth is kind of reminds me of myself at his age, and I don't think that he knows how to let a race come to him. He wants to control it. He's fast. He's good at picking lines, and I don't think he's good at following. And the second he gets behind, he gets ate up. And if you look back 4 years ago, which I think is about our age difference, 3 years, I believe, watch my races. It's Josh Toth to a T. Craig DeLong is patient. He's precise. Wait, I'm sorry. We're supposed to start talking shit on Craig. Never mind.
I gave you a softball layup about Craig.
You did. I was supposed to talk shit on Craig this week. Actually, you know what? I'm going with Josh Toth. Craig DeLong, you suck. Yep. Craig DeLong sucks. We're going Josh Toth, 100%. Craig DeLong sucks. That's all we got to say about that. It doesn't matter how precise and how patient Craig is. We're going with Josh Toth.
See, man, I tried to put that one to you on a silver platter.
I know. I wasn't picking up what you were putting down, but I got it. I mean, I might be a little bit slow, but I've been hanging out with Bubs, so please don't judge me. But
oh man,
my mind might be a little slower than normal, just hanging out with this guy.
I hope them boys don't get too hungry. You might quit cooking halfway through.
I allowed him to have a little bit of fun this week because he finished the race. He complained. He didn't have fun. He had a bad day, but he finished the race. So I think our podcast actually we kind of prevailed here. And in the situation, Bubs actually admitted that he was thinking about our podcast on the last or 2 laps to go when he was sitting in 11th place.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. Look what we did. Even Ty, you saw we got a shout out from Ty and Bubs both.
Yeah, so I saw Ty's post about it.
We did what we had to do here. The situation was as good as it could be.
Changing lives, one shit talking podcast at a time.
So, anyways, back to Craig and Josh. We're going with Josh because, well, Craig, you suck. I know he's listening somewhere. Craig, you suck.
In all seriousness, no, like
Craig was really like. Josh had a phenomenal ride. Nothing against Josh this weekend. Like, he rode really well. I think he burned himself out and got outsmarted in the end. I think he was the better rider between the two, but Ben's the smarter rider. And that's what Josh is going to have to learn. And I think Craig has already learned that, just from my side. And I think that a lot of the other guys are gonna have to learn that too. Like there's more than just racing fast. Like it's not just about how fast you can go, especially early in the race. It's those last 2 laps, and that's kind of what I keep seeing. Like I got to go back to that. And I can judge because I was that guy. Like I'm not trying to be arrogant. Like I've been that guy, so I can see it. And that was some of the changes that I had to make. So I think that's some of the big things that these guys are going to have to do to catch Ben. And they're going to have to let Ben up front. Like, let him go. If he wants to go, sit on his tail. Let him break the track in. Like, stop wearing yourself down and stop trying to lead. Like, there's no need for it. You look just as good sitting in second on his rear wheel and better sitting in the center at the end of the day. So that's just my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong. I personally like the lead. I know Caleb liked to lead back when Caleb was doing well. I don't like to lead with pressure. Caleb liked to lead with pressure. Caleb never won a race. You know, I don't say never. He did occasionally, but Caleb very seldomly won races by large margins. It was usually small and controllable.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like a little bit of a gap. I'm more comfortable. It's hard to catch what you can't see. You know, the old U-Haul Salmon style, but everything's different with every rider. So I think.
So I mean, being one of the guys in the XC1 class yourself, and being one of the guys winning a lot of races, do you think that that's not risky for them guys to let Ben get up front and kind of follow him and pace him? I mean, he won by 40 seconds, he won by 4 minutes, and now he won by over a minute. Like, is there a sit and chill behind Ben, or is that going to be too late?
No, I mean, I think there is. Like let him wear himself down. They're wearing themselves out. It's either if Ben's matching your speed, let him go. If he's not, then go all you got. Like there's a little bit of, you know, there's a game there too. Like I think that there's a little bit of just kind of playing it smart and basing it on where Ben is on the track. Like obviously Ben's the guy to beat, and until further notice, like I don't see anybody else coming on the scene as the guy to beat. I think right now, like Ashburn obviously had an off day, but I would say that as far as healthy riders go, like Ashburn and Toth are both right there. But I would put possibly even Ashburn in front of Toth as far as the guy that you're going to have to watch out for. And I just don't see anybody learning 3 hours and not wanting to win. Like, dude, a lot of XC1, a lot of times, and I feel like I don't think I'm the only rider that would say this. I feel like Strang and some of the other guys would agree. And if you're not the fastest guy on that day, let a guy behind you pull you to the front and figure out what he's doing differently. Like this weekend, like it was even on camera. It was very visible to me. I saw it 3 or 4 times. Like Ben was kind of watching Josh's lines, taking outside lines, figuring out how can I go just as fast without wasting energy. And it was a very, very smart play, especially with a track that got that rutted and that deep. So, you know, that was just what I saw from my side. And I think that these other guys don't know how to let somebody else lead. Like if they're in third, they're going to be fighting for third, even if the 4th place guy's faster. And a lot of racing, I feel like is let somebody, if you're not the fastest guy, let the next guy go. Figure out why he's going faster, and then use it to your advantage when necessary, or when if you can keep up with him, use it to your advantage. And I think that Ben's been very smart this year as far as playing off Josh, playing off Jordan, And that's why he's doing as well as he is.
Did you ever find out the official word on what happened to Jordan? I know his first lap, his bike cut off, and he was messing with it for about a minute down there. I know there was some speculation back and forth on the broadcast, but did you ever find out what caused that by any chance?
No. I just know Strang said that he kind of, what did he say? Fiddled with the plug, but we were kind of wondering, like, the KTMs in the past have had that clip where the fuel line is, and if you don't plug it all the way in, sometimes it'll lose pressure and shut off. So maybe that was what happened. Really don't know. All speculation. I never did even find out. Obviously, I think it happened more than once to him that day, and he had to play a bit of catch up. But yeah, that's all we really know.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's been a guy that's been right there at the front of the pack, race in and race out, and he kind of had to dig himself out of a hole and ended up working himself back up there in the mix towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. And he worked himself right up to it. And then, I want to say maybe 2 to go, we saw him just fall out of it just a little bit. And I'm wondering maybe whatever was going on, he had complications again there late in the race, or if it was just kind of fatigue there late in the race.
Yeah, and so kind of talking about the way that guys are battling up front and the way that guys are able to pace and push each other. Looking back in the XC2 class, this was a battle of some bulldogs to get that XC2 win. Mike Wachowski obviously makes it 3 in a row, but Lennon Snodgrass on his back wheel as they came through the finish line. And really throughout the course of the day, you could throw a net over those two guys. In that XC2 class, given the way that those two have been riding and kind of setting themselves apart, is it the same thing? Like, do each one of those guys, whoever's in second, are they in the relax and chill mode, or do you think that's balls of the wall?
There's XC2 and XC1 are a very, very different style of racing.
Just like 250s and 450s.
Yeah, it's a race. I mean, you might see a guy up front in XC2. Like, obviously, Mike Wachowski's very dominant this year, but let's be honest, his career has been like one side or the other. Lennon Snodgrass, his results are one side or the other. XC1, you might see one day where guys might jump in there where you don't expect them, but like if a fifth place guy is a fifth place guy, like he's probably not going to change it until the following year if he does better or worse. He's going to be right around that fifth place. XC2, you might have a guy 11th place one race and second the next, and they are simply going for wins. They are fighting for $5,000, whatever their bonuses are from their team, and that's what they're after from the start to the finish. And whatever stands between the start and the finish, they kind of throw to the wayside. The battles are a little more intense. Like, it's always been that way as long as I can remember. I mean, even myself, Jason Thomas, that's why Jason Thomas was never an XC1 competitor. Like, he was an XC2 guy. He was a racer. He was the guy that wanted to battle you to the finish, and he was only worried about winning each race and not big pictures. And that's where, each guy has their strong point. And guys, yes, there's guys that are very competitive in both classes, but you don't ever see the guy come straight from XC2 right into XC1 and kill it. Ben Kelly did.
Except for one, yeah.
Ben Kelly did right off the bat, but then you saw him almost get stuck in reverse gear. And that was more like, I think it's that mindset thing. Like, once you get to XC1, yeah, you can be fast. You can be fast right off the bat, but things start changing. Like, when you get up there, like, I think if you talk to a lot of the XC1 guys, you realize, like, there's this kind of an unspoken respect and way of racing, style of racing between each guy, and nobody really, like I said, it's unspoken. Nobody says, like, hey, this is the way we race. But in XC1, a lot of times guys kind of let people go, like, hey, if you're on the way to the front, I'm not going to hold you up. Like, go get your paycheck, bud. Maybe I can see what lines you're on. XC2, it's completely different. And I think, this weekend was no different. It was just, two guys going at it. Mike had the lead and controlled the race. And I was kind of listening in on I had a headset, and I was like trying to do the live feed, but also like I was really involved in the race, like listening, like, dude, it's a good race. And I hear somewhere around the 7 mile mark, they're like, oh, they're going at each other. Contact's been made. So every time I would get away from the microphone, I was trying to go out to the track and watch, and that was the battle that obviously everybody was on their feet for. So I think that, kind of to wrap it up again, it's not really that either of them were chilling, Mike. They were at each other's throats all day, and that's just the way that the XC2 guys ride. It's always been that way.
Yeah, and like I said, we saw them come through wheel to wheel. Ryder Lafferty, he was up in the mix early on. He was in third place, over a minute and a half back from those two. So that's what I was saying. They kind of separated themselves in their own little battle and just kind of took off. I think both of them boys want it, and I think they showed that every weekend. And I think those battles are going to keep happening.
I hope so. I mean, because the XC1 stuff, like, just not as entertaining at this point. So I hope it does. I hope that those guys can be the entertainment for at least 3 or 4 more races.
So you're there. You got Ricky there. What's the timeline on? Do you know any more about your injury and your return? And do you know anything about Ricky's return?
Ricky is, from right now, he's hoping to race the next race, but it's very uncertain.
Next race is in next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend. Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't know. Obviously, we saw him in a sling this weekend, so I mean, that's one of those things where, as a racer, you really don't know. It's how bad do you want that bonus, and is it worth it? And weighing that stuff out, and I could see him lining up on a bike next week on Thursday and saying, either I feel really good or I don't. But it's 10 days. 10 days, as far as that goes, is a long time. So a lot could change between now and then. I just don't. I don't know where he's feeling. It sounds like he's kind of right on the line of just what he feels like, whether he can move his arm the way that he wants to, and thinks he can still be competitive. So, for us, you don't get paid for 7th place. So he's not going to line up if he thinks that he's going to be a 7th place guy. He's gonna line up if he thinks he can make bonuses. So I would say we won't know anything on his until next Thursday. And with my stuff, I'm feeling really good, which is probably more dangerous than anything, because you feel good. Obviously, you want to do a little bit more, like try to go out and go fishing on the river and maybe trip yourself up walking down the bank and lay down on the ground and get terrified thinking you might have Ricky and Bubs are laughing.
Just hypothetical, this is, right?
Hypothetical, exactly, yeah. Like, if it were to happen, like, just saying. Yeah, so Ricky and Bubs both laughed at me earlier because I didn't, obviously my wrist is broken, so I didn't put my hands out to break my fall, and I just went straight to my face. But I did have my neck brace on, which is good. Landed straight on my chest. And I didn't even spill my beer, which is solid. Or my worms. They started laughing for a whole, half a second before they realized what was actually happening. And they were like, oh, shit, this isn't good. And I was laying there, basically waiting to stop feeling my feet. All right, we're good. So, no, it's tough because, right now, I want to get out. I want to do things. I want to actually enjoy being a person and not just sitting on the couch. It's been miserable. So now I'm still looking at about 2 months from today before we'll be back on the bike. And at that point, I think it's really going to have to be off the field, kind of the same thing. You know, I can't line up for 7th place. So it's pointless for me to go and not make bonuses. So if I feel competitive whenever, 8 weeks from now, when I get this neck brace off, then I might go straight back to racing. I doubt it. So I would say it's probably going to be 3 months from today before you'll see me trying to line back up, sometime around Snowshoe. I think Ohio and Snowshoe, kind of in that area. But I would say it's going to be a while. And I've talked to Yamaha a little bit about it. They're on the page of, hey, if you can't win, if you don't feel competitive enough to win, don't line up. We don't want you to go out there too premature and be injured, and we're looking for the same results, and that's kind of where I am. So we're on the same page there. So they're backing me on basically whenever I feel like I'm able to line up and be competitive.
Yeah, I mean, this may sound like a dumb question, but as a safety guy, it's just where my brain goes. If you got the support of your team behind you and you're talking about 3 months, Snowshoe is the last race before summer break. If you just happen to miss Snowshoe and happen to just hang out and have a good time at Snowshoe,
Howard's Hole,
which is the best place to have a good time at, then all of a sudden you get 2 extra months.
Oops. I mean, that has definitely not crossed my mind. No, I mean, we have actually discussed that, because you can't be ready. Let's say that I get on the bike 2 months from now, and I've got a month of seat time. I don't think that I'll be 100% by Snowshoe, but Snowshoe's one of those races. I'm going to have fun, and I'm probably going to drink on Saturday night and Sunday night anyway, because the crowd there is so fun. Like, I just don't see myself sidelining that one. It's hard to sit back and say that I want to miss that race. Like, that's one of the most fun races all year. When you come through Howard's Hole and the crowd lights up, especially if you're leading. Like, the first lap coming down that hill, and it's quiet. It's a long downhill coming to it.
Yep.
And all you can hear is your chain slapping, and then out of nowhere, you hear, "Wow, Stu fucking Baylor!" And then the rest of the race, it's the fastest 3 hour I've ever ridden. Like, it's over before you know it. Like, I think the Snowshoe's one of the most enjoyable races for everybody, including the fans, more the fans than anybody. So sitting here today, I definitely want to be back for that one, mainly just because of that. Like, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's the show. Like, it's one of those races. You've got Ironman, you've got Snowshoe, and round one, wherever it may be. Those are the 3 biggest GNCCs.
Yeah.
So Snowshoe is just one of those, kind of the iconic GNCC, and I definitely want to be back for that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that too, because that's a place where you have absolutely zero signal and you have no reason to be up there other than to have a good time and watch dirt bikes. And by you, I mean obviously the fans. You typically race it. So from our perspective, just like you said, just having that race up there is just a spectacle in itself. And like you mentioned, that first lap through Howard's Hole, it's unexplainable until you see it.
Yeah, and quad day, way better, way cooler. Everybody's way drunker, more people. I just want those guys to stay for Sunday.
Yeah. So, and the real party at Snowshoe happened Sunday night. One of my most favorite memories, dude, 2017, and I don't know if Ricky is still within earshot, but the year that Ricky Russell won Snowshoe, that Sunday night.
Yeah, Ricky doesn't remember that. You
mean the Sunday I understand why.
We had multiple witnesses that watched Ricky die that night. I watched it. I watched him die. I'm telling you today, at about 11:30 that night, he was wearing nothing but his race. I don't even think he got out of his racing underwear. He's wearing nothing but his racing underwear.
Laying in the middle of the street.
I watched him tackle a bush from the second floor
balcony. Yeah.
and he went through the bush, and then nobody hears Ricky get up, and we look down, and there's a 20-foot drop, and there's no Ricky, and I'm like, this guy just went through this bush, fell 20 feet to his head because he's too drunk to put his hands out, straight to his head, and he's gone. Like they've already picked him up, cleaned him up, and time's passed this fast. Like I don't even know where I am. And Ricky's dead. Like Ricky's 100% dead. I wasn't even concerned that he was living. I was like concerned about when the funeral was. Like
Ricky's dead.
Ricky's done. And then we hear this Yamaha 450 start up.
Yeah.
Across the parking lot. And we see the mechanics come running out of the side of the semi. And then, what was it? Probably 30, 45 minutes later, we see the ambulance show up for Trevor Bollinger.
What a night.
Trevor didn't know his own address, which I don't even know. I couldn't tell you sober. I couldn't tell you his address. But that night, in the middle of Snowshoe, I remembered Trevor's address to give it to the paramedics.
His address is his last name. How do you forget it?
It's Bollinger Gap Street, but hell, I remember the number. I remember the zip code. I was like, I was on another level that night. I mean, the medical calls just kept coming, and it was, it was a rough night. Corey Buttrick, I'm pretty sure Buttrick's heart stopped that same night. It was.
So
whatever happened that night at Snowshoe, I think we should just probably go ahead and pump the brakes on that.
Oh man, I remember to a certain point of the night, and then my memory gets hazy too. But I wasn't gonna give all the details up on Ricky, but I actually have a video of him in the top floor of the semi doing a burnout on his race bike, and Lucas Statham trying to get after him, and Ryan.
He ripped the wires out of it. He said the hell with pulling a fuse out. Ricky will figure out that. He said, I'm ripping all the wires out. He physically ripped them out. They actually had to do that to my bike here New Year's.
And then, right after that happened and they pulled Ricky off of his bike out of the semi, he went and jumped on Grant's bike and then just held that thing on the limiter in the parking lot. And then that was also Johnny Gerard's first podium on a Suzuki.
Ricky's sitting here in agreement. He doesn't remember any of it, but he's like, yep, I saw videos. That did happen.
So anyway, Snowshoe is a fun race.
Yeah. So if you haven't been to Snowshoe and you don't like a good time, don't come. If you like a good time, you should probably come. Oh,
that's also the year that that Josh Toth whooped you in arm wrestling.
Did he?
No. The video
Only
I posted at
right-handed.
Ironman, I went through and I found that one from that year.
Only right-handed, not left-handed. He couldn't get me left-handed.
I thought it was left-handed, not right-handed.
He picked on my weak hand. And Ricky has an argument here in the background.
Randy Hawkins told me and Josh to celebrate tonight. And you don't get the go-ahead from Randy too often. But we both won. He won. He was second overall, XC2.
Yeah.
I was XC1,
so
in defense, he told us to have a good time.
It sounds like it was very justified.
They're just team orders.
Yeah. Team orders. How could you go against team orders?
You can't.
At that point. Yeah. No shot.
Oh man. I'm gonna have to dig up the burnout video.
We need to see that. That actually does need to come out. At this point, it's not like Ricky can get in trouble by his team from then. Maybe his new team, but back then he's no longer riding for them. I might get in trouble. At this point for provoking it, but
I was about to say they're going to suspend you for 3 races, man. Be careful.
You'll have that. No, definitely not. They would have, if they were suspending me, they would have already done it. I think Yamaha and I have a pretty good relationship. I'm actually surprised, like, that they let me go as far as I do from time to time. But
so, in all seriousness, that was one of the big things with you going to the Yamaha factory team is are they going to let Stu be Stu? And I think you actually came on the show and we even talked about it a little bit. So, I mean, I think that is cool. Since you mentioned it, I mean, how has it been, the whole team dynamic? Because, I mean, you're still Stu and you're still doing all the things, and I guess Randy's cool with it.
Well, I was much more nervous the last time we discussed this. But they've definitely, like, kind of, I mean, at the end of the day, and it's something that we've discussed on here, and obviously there are people who say the exact opposite. I mean, there's always going to be the devil's advocate to just about any scenario. But I've heard the argument of, oh yeah, those rednecks that are buying dirt bikes, they ain't the same ones that are drinking beer that Stu's appealing to. That's bullshit. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, the guys that I can relate to are the guys that are working construction, that are normal people, that are no BS people. And sorry, Bub. I just watched Bubs grab a hot oven pan without oven mitts. I can't help but laugh. But anyways, those guys are the guys buying bikes. I mean, at the end of the day, those are the people that are at the GNCC in that parking lot, and they're not there for a clean-cut corporate image. They're there because they love dirt bikes and they want to buy bikes. And I think that it's hard to keep the good balance of not pissing too many people off, which I feel like I haven't pissed everybody off yet. About 3 podcasts from now, I'm not sure.
You said that like you're disappointed.
At this point, as far as we go with the On the Pipe podcast now, and the stupid stuff I say on the side, we haven't pissed everybody off yet. So that's obviously a good starting point. And Yamaha has been very welcoming to a little bit different style of rider and different image, and it's been good. Like, across the board, I feel like we, even the fans, like, they enjoy that Yamaha does support that I am myself and that I'm not a corporate puppet. I mean, we don't, like Randy said it the other week. He said, man, I don't want to enforce team shirts. He's like, you know, I get the team image, and, you know, kids looking up to KTM and looking at their factory image saying, oh, they've got all the fancy stuff, but we don't need that. Like, and that's kind of where I am. I don't need that stuff to go and ride my dirt bike. I don't need a button-up shirt to go and race and compete on Sunday. I just need a good motorcycle that's going to get me through the day and a couple cold beers when I'm finished.
Yeah, that's a good point. And going off the bike, one of the most interesting things that I thought is right when you switch to it, kind of talking about the geometry of the Yamahas and their whole mass centralization, and you were kind of talking about feeling that was like the biggest difference that you felt going on to the bike. I mean, obviously you haven't ridden in a few weeks, but how have you gelled with that bike over the year and some change that you've been riding it?
It's been, you know, it was one of those bikes where I felt uncomfortable riding it. I really did. But the stopwatch, the old saying, the stopwatch doesn't lie. That's kind of what we went off of. And stopwatch didn't lie. I was faster. Box stock. I was faster on I can't remember whose suspension I rode. It didn't matter. It really didn't matter. I was faster on that bike across the board. So even though I didn't feel like it was the best bike for me, I rode it better than any bike. And I've taken some wrong turns because I rode KTM for so long. You know, you ride one brand for 17 years, you learn to ride for that bike. And it's difficult when the bike's slightly different. The progression and the linkage is different. The geometry is slightly different. The way the forks load up different. It's a totally different suspension and the way that it passes through fluid. So I had to learn a lot as far as the bike and myself meshing. So that was definitely, it was eye opening. It was fun to learn something different, but at the same time, it was difficult because some of the turns that I've made in the past are now dead ends or wrong turns because it's a completely different machine.
Well, seems to be working for you. Like you said, the stopwatch and the race wins and everything, they don't lie either.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I even with a little bit of a more uncomfortable feel, it was one of the bikes that I rode really well. The other one was the Kawasaki. I rode the Kawasaki really well when I first got onto it, and it was weird. It was so different from anything I had ever ridden, but it was very stiff and tall, and I think a lot of it was just being different was fun, like a different challenge.
Yeah. And like I said, I think because that's all I had rode before was the Yamaha. So that first race back that you came back and won on the Yamaha, and then you came on and talked about it, just I wish I would have gone back and listened to it. I didn't plan to go down this road during the show, but the way you kind of described it and the feel of it, it made a lot of sense, and it's things that I knew exactly what you were talking about, but it's things that I just hadn't put together. So just the way that you broke it down and kind of explained it, it was really good. And I've heard other people say that, like as far as testing suspension setups, that you're able to explain what it's doing, how you want it, what it can do differently, and the technical breakdown of it. So I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that stuff, so I think it's super interesting. But because of that technical breakdown and the way that you explain things, transitioning into this weekend, you're actually holding a riding school down at the Full Gas at GTR, doing one on Friday, one on Saturday. What can you tell us about that?
So, actually, Josh Koscheck reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, I want to know how can we fit into the program still? I loved having you here, and I'd really like to do a riding school down at the next Full Gas and possibly more to come." So I liked his idea of that, and we kind of tried to work it all together and came up with doing a Friday, Saturday school. So Friday is more for the amateur riders who will race on Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon school will be more for the advanced riders that race on Sunday. So what we're going to try to do a little bit differently than a normal riding school, since it will be at the racetrack, is the last bit will be trying to basically put what we go through the day and put it to work. So rather than normal, you just finish up your day and you kind of hope you learn something. This one, we're going to go back out. We're going to walk the track and try to put up the setup lines and see the little things that I go over throughout the day, put them to work. Obviously, we won't be able to go out and ride the track, so it's going to have to be walking. And I think it'll be different and cool because it's something that you don't really get to see normally is how does a pro ride a track or pedal the track prior to racing it? How does a pro walk the track prior to racing it? How do we look at things and figure out, is this line or this line going to be faster, and why is it going to be faster? You have to weigh out entry speed versus exit speed, whether you can be as precise, if there's a tree to dodge, all these little things. And I think it's going to be very good for the development of the racers in the full gas or sprint enduro style of racing, because you don't get to see that. You don't get to see the lines that we normally ride. And if you watch videos, if you stood in one section, you'll see the pro riders will be 6-8 inches different. Tire marks are 6-8 inches different. So a lot of things that we want to focus on for this riding school, different than normal, is tire placement and putting it to use on the racetrack, not just being better riders, but being better racers. So today actually I had a discussion with a mom who was wanting to bring their kid there, said that he doesn't really want to be a racer, just a rider, and not ready to be racing yet. So this school is not really for the people that just want to ride. This is more racing school. We're not going to go over all all the stupid, silly basics that we do day in and day out. It's more designed towards the racing than anything, and how we can play it into the race for the following day.
Cool. Yeah, kind of some of the stuff that you were breaking down before about specifically sprint enduro racing and stuff. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of the key takeaways from it too. And I was talking to Koscheck as well. He is saying that he thinks that they have set up probably the best enduro test in full gas history. So he's pretty stoked on it. They're pumped on it. He texted me today and said they got the track all laid out. They're basically ready for the weekend and ready to race. So should be a cool school that you get to put on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got, I believe I have five spots for each day left. So we filled up pretty quick with 15 spots for each day. We've got 10 on each day as it stands. And it's definitely going to be fun to watch some of the guys. 'Cause I obviously on the training, on the backside of it, when you're training guys and you can't be racing, you want to see guys do well, which is why I've been so hard on poor little Bubs and Ty here lately. But I can still live vicariously through the guys that I'm training, so I want to see them perform better on the following day, and I'm hoping that that'll still keep me entertained through the day. But definitely letting me down if I hear that it's going to be the coolest enduro test I've ever seen is I won't get to ride it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Sorry about that.
Part of it.
So one thing too, talking to Koscheck today and going into the weekend. Obviously, I guess you're the points leader going into this weekend. But
not for long.
Do what?
Not for long.
Hey man,
Strang
still
won't
got
be
to claim
lining
it.
up either.
Do what?
I said Strang won't be lining up. Looks like Medaglia might have to stay down for this championship.
Yeah, either that or Brewer Colley's got it locked up.
Yep.
No, but so talking to Koscheck, one thing that we kind of decided to do and what he wants to do as well is we're actually, or I say we, Full Gas is going to, I guess, quote unquote, sponsor somebody to come take the riding class, their choice of either Friday or Saturday. We're going to make it exclusively to people that are listening. So obviously people that have come to listen to these weekend reviews with Stu's.
Dude, there's 7 people listening.
Yeah, so your chances are very good. But the way that we're going to do it is everyone that is pre-registered for this weekend for Full Gas is entered into the drawing. So someone from that pre-registered list is going to get drawn, probably going to do a random number, and then whatever number you signed up in, whatever number it draws, that's who's going to get it. But one person is going to have their class paid for to be able to come out and attend it with you, their choice of either Friday or Saturday.
And how are they going to find out about this drawing? Are we going to call them? Am I going to call them? Am I going to surprise attack them? Like, how are we going to do this?
You can. You want to? I just figured that it's short notice. I mean, we're talking about what's today? Today's Tuesday. First class is Friday.
We do this together in like a week. So, no, it's obviously short notice.
Yeah, so basically the way that I was thinking is that whoever is pre-registered is obviously already planning on being there this weekend. So, that's a start.
All right, so where do they need it? Obviously, these guys that are listening, all 7 of them now know that they need to pre-register for the weekend.
Yep.
To be eligible for this. And then beyond that, do we have all their contact information whenever they sign up? I mean, are they expecting a random New York number to call them, which would be Josh Koscheck, obviously. I ignored 2 of his phone calls just in case you were wondering. I'm like, who in the hell is calling me from New York? Josh told me he was calling, and I thought he was from Waynesburg, which turns out he's actually from North Carolina now. But I get this Buffalo, New York number calling me, and I'm like, nah, sorry, it's spam.
I never even paid attention to that. It's a New York number?
Yeah, it's a 716 area code.
He's like from Pennsylvania, lives in North Carolina, spent time in California, but he's got a New York number?
Dude, that guy's all kind of fucked up. Did I just say that? Oh, my God, he's going to beat me this weekend. I don't think I'm going to come anymore. I'm scared.
Hey, you better strap that neck brace down tight.
Dude, one good kick and I'm out. I'm done.
So yeah, I guess when everyone pre-registers, all their information is on there. So the 7 of you listening, you were already planning on going down there to race anyway. It's GTR, it's full gas. So if you're gonna already go down there and race anyway, go on, pre-register, and then you'll also be entered in a free drawing to attend Stu Baylor's riding school. Do you have a catchy name? Is that the name of it? Stu Baylor's riding school?
Yeah, pretty much. We're not very flashy or anything like that. The only time we're getting flashy is when we're doing loop outs. So anybody wins the weekend after doing the riding school, break some fenders. It's on Josh.
Free rear fenders, everyone that breaks them, but you must win the weekend.
Perfect.
Well, cool, man. And the last thing I want to talk to you about, I saw some stuff going on at the Shoals. Looks like you guys got a big old building going down there. That is obviously your training facility, your track. That's where you put your extra time, your extra effort is into building the Shoals complex. You got a new building going in. What's new? What's changing? What can people expect and look for at the Shoals?
Yeah, so the goal was to have the gym done as soon as possible. Obviously, it's very difficult to have everything lined up, and we actually found some fellow dirt bike racers, moto kids that were training at the track. Their families have helped us out as far as getting a lot of it done. My uncle has absolutely busted his ass. He's been working on this thing day in and day out. I'm no carpenter. I like dirt. I like moving dirt, but I'm the guy that cuts twice and measures once. Doesn't even make sense, does it? Yeah, that's exactly me. So
Putty and paint, make it what it ain't.
This up, and the idea is we want to have a large gym, which is going to be dedicated to the guys training at the Shoals and anybody involved with the Regulus performance group. And then beyond that, we're going to have the other end will be shop space where we'll have a mechanic that'll be working full time. So people that need service work in the area will be able to drop their machines off and get service done through us. We'll have race fuel there. General parts, we're trying to line that up now just to carry something, because I feel here in the last few years, if you need anything, I don't care what it is, if you need a chain or a top end or anything in between, most motorcycle shops don't carry it. And I understand, because it is so easy to get it through a website, but there's so many times where you need it last second. So we're going to try to stock the majority of the popular brands. Obviously, in our area, it's probably going to be majority of KTM and Yamaha stuff. That's pretty much what we see more than anything. So going to try to carry the popular items there, good Dunlop tires, some bib mooses, and just make it to where you can come to the Shoals, stay, and never leave. That's the idea. We're going to lock the gate behind you and trap you in.
Until you don't.
Next is the gun range. I've got my gun range, and then we're trying to figure out how to replicate a redneck style of Topgolf.
Redneck style of Topgolf.
Redneck Topgolf. Yeah. So I'm going to put out
interest.
like three nets, and if you can aim at those nets and hit them, then you're good. And if not, you're going to be losing golf balls through the clear cut. We'll have our own scoring system. Very redneck Topgolf. Like if Topgolf was invented in the 1800s, that's what we're going after.
There we go. Speaking of your gun range, so Obi, the guy that Koshek has helping him run the series, former military sniper. We need to get him out there. He needs to do a sniping class. I've been trying to see the long range action.
I've got the guns for him to shoot. If he wants to shoot it, I'd love to watch him in action. That stuff's very, very intriguing to me. I got into some competition shooting last year for the first time, and I went head over heels for it. So
what kind of shooting you doing?
So we're using 22s because obviously the prices ever since COVID has been absolutely absurd. So
we did it, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. So obviously, since nobody can afford 22 or diesel, we're walking to the track, or 223 or diesel. We're walking to the track and shooting our 22s. But no, we got some pretty badass 22 setups. Doing anything from 50 to 300 yards with those, and with a 22, that's the varying distance there is pretty tough to figure out because the way it drops, it's not a 308 or
shooting rainbows.
Yeah, it's pretty. You might as well shoot a pellet gun. So yeah, it's cheap. It's cheap to shoot. It's fun. Something you can do with a bunch of buddies, and it's competitive, which for guys like us at the track, that's a big part. If it's not competitive, we're not interested in it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like today we're fishing, and silently we were all keeping count. But Ricky's a lucky bastard, and I never even released my numbers to his numbers because, well, he doubled mine. And I think Bubs actually fell in the water more times than he caught fish.
That just means Ricky got the biggest fine, it sounds like.
No, the bad thing is the game warden looked in our bucket and he goes, "I can't even get you guys for being over your limit." Poor guys.
Dang.
Okay, sorry. Bubs caught the biggest fish. We got to give him that. He caught the biggest fish.
What was it?
It was only
stick fish. We were catching perch, white bass, and crappie, just running up in the river. Walking distance because I can't take my boat out because I can't do the wake, which, again, I fell on my face, so I guess we might as well have taken the boat. But I'm waiting. I should be bow fishing at this point, and obviously we're not, which is miserable, so I got to just sit here. I can't drive, which makes it even worse. Like, I have to rely on these guys to take me anywhere. So it's getting pretty boring. It's getting pretty miserable. But I talked him into taking me fishing 2 days in a row now, which got me out of the house. So I'm having fun again. But it really sucks not doing anything and relying on other people. Yeah. Well. Yeah, I got nothing for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. It just sucks. It sucks. It's any other injury, wrists, collarbones. I've had a little bit of everything. Massive gaping female parts on my side, pretty much. That's what that is. You pretty much put your fist in my side last year. Yeah, so we've had a little bit of everything. Broken. Let's see, broken wrist, broken hand, foot, ACL. Nothing else has taken me out of the game like this one. It absolutely sucks not being able to do anything. Can't drive down the road because I can't look left and right. So, pretty terrible.
Damn it. All you can do is just poke people in the face with a microphone when you can't see where you're putting it. just wait till the rest of the video. Let's see, did it post? Have we got that all up yet? I've got some really good ones out.
Where I was. Oh yeah, we got it up now. It didn't. I thought my phone died before it uploaded earlier. Yeah. So while we were at the river, okay. So yeah, everybody's got to see this now. I was trying to find more guys that would be more entertaining for this. I was thinking like maybe if I hit Ben in the mouth with it, like he might want to fight. I was a little uncertain with him. Like he's a little bigger than I am, taller than I am. Obviously not bigger, but he could probably whip my ass with a broken neck. So I was only picking on a few of the guys. But Lyndon, I got him pretty good. I think I hit him every single time I asked him a question.
Dude, you got the mic all the way in his helmet. I was laughing at that one.
Hey, I'm pretty sure. I think he tried to put it in his mouth.
You need to take that thing over to the beta rig. Talk to Buttrick a little bit. Them boys will give you some content.
I'm telling you. So the original interview that was done like this was me and Corey Buttrick, 2016 at Cherokee National Enduro, and that was kind of the sparking idea for it. Daniel Engel shot it. We had a ton of views, and it was just something silly. So it's something that we want to keep doing. I talked to Mason a little bit more about it. I want to interact with the racers as long as I'm not one of them. and try to keep some good stuff coming out. And we even discussed the possibility if Ricky doesn't race the next race, just getting in a UTV, he and I, a 12-pack of beer, maybe 24, and running around the pits and trying to do our own little live feed just for fun.
Oh, it'd be gold.
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, problem with that, big buck, no service.
There will be service this year
because
you know what?
Oh yeah,
wide open Wi-Fi.
We've got
it. It's all figured out. Todd's been down here all this week. They've got everything going in, so you're not going to have to worry about the cell phones getting overwhelmed and shutting everything down. They're going to have enough, whatever, transducer, I don't know, what do you even call those things that broadcast the internet? So they're going to have enough transmitters for all the internet throughout all of the pits at Big Buck this time. Sounds like Camp Coker will be the same. There's only a couple tracks that they haven't hit, so a couple people have seen the WOW, wide open Wi-Fi, and that's what they're putting in place for the remaining races this season, which will keep us to where we can stay on social media and interact in our non-racing lives, which will hopefully keep the people that can't be there entertained. So
yeah,
possibly if Ricky doesn't race, 24-pack of beer, a golf cart, and our own show for the weekend. So
I love it. It's been 2 minutes and we do what?
Do you want to jump in if we're doing it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm in there.
Perfect. Sounds good. We can't all fit on your motorcycle.
I get nervous. I get nervous talking to people though.
If you're nervous talking to people, then that's probably not going to go over so well. I'll bring my kid.
Yeah, I have a real fear of public speaking.
Yeah, same.
Hey,
I think I've peed myself on the podium before, but it wasn't actually from that. It was I had to pee really bad, and they forced me up there. I couldn't help it.
I like the sound of this idea
not
already.
Really, but it sounded funny, and my wife gave me a funny look when I said it.
It's not funny.
Sounded funny to me. But my favorite part about this idea so far is that we started out with a 12-pack of beer, and then 2 minutes later, we're already at a 24-pack. So
I'll bring a bottle of Crown as well.
Hey, look, see, it just keeps increasing. I can't think of a better way to spend a GNCC Sunday.
It's only we got a lake house last year, 33 minutes from there, so that's like staggering distance.
Oh yeah. Hey man, we'll take my car. We'll let Elon drive us. Then it's not drunk driving because Elon's driving.
Yeah, absolutely. Will it tow a bow fishing boat? Because
I've poled my boat with it. It's good.
Done. We're bow fishing after our 24 beers and 2 bottles of Crown.
Hell yeah. sounds like a good time.
Real quick, if that happens, I have a feeling if we did that, we'd probably never be allowed back at the races. Could you imagine? Like they would be so upset that they gave out pit passes if we did that.
Hey, as long as we have our permit on the UTV.
Yep, back to 12 years, whatever.
Yeah, we're of age.
We'll try to meet in the middle with them.
You just can't drink and drive. You got to drink then drive. That's the only stipulation.
You got to drink then drive. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. Perfect.
So you don't spill anything. Did you ever ride at TNT growing up?
It's been years. That's been when I was 10. So 16 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I learned how to ride. And just a little personal tidbit. One day I went there and Barbara was the old lady that ran it. She ended up passing away, and then that's when the whole place shut down. But talking about having parts and stuff at the Shoals, one day I bought and broke every single clutch lever that lady had on her wall. So clutch levers, brake levers, have those on the wall too.
We'll work on that. Come up with whatever terrible list of things you did. I keep seeing brake pads, chains, and there's some stupid stuff that like you would never think of, like the KX 100s and 85s definitely have to stock clutches. That's been one thing that I've been asked a ton for. You guys have any clutches for the mini bikes? So if you can think of anything else, let me know. Oh, and then the the rubber mounted handlebar mounts. Everybody seems to fall and tweak their handlebars with the new style of rubber mounts, and it's terrible. So got to have those replacements. We're coming up with a list of things that I think we're going to need there. So if you can come up with anything from an obvious back of the pack D rider, let me know.
I'm your guy. Don't you worry.
Yeah, let me know. Keep me informed of whatever you guys need.
But
we currently are sitting on a stockpile of like $25,000 in VP fuel. So we've got T4, VPR, T2, Pro 6, MR12.
Hey, I need to buy some. I need to buy some clone bottles of MR12.
Dude, oh my God! Lennon's and T4. We've been riding with Lennon a good bit this off season, and he runs that stuff, and you can smell it from 3 miles out. Like come in, and you're in love with anybody that runs it. So, yeah, I'm 100% with you. So I walked in the building the other day, and it's been sitting there for a few weeks or a week now, and I walked in, and it hit me in the face, that smell of all that fuel. And I realized how great it smelled. But at the same time, I realized
I need to get out of here.
No. I realized what was wrong with Bubs Tasha. It all makes sense now. He sat around that fuel so much that I don't think that his mind works properly anymore.
Clouded his judgment.
It did, 100%. It clouded his judgment so much that he chooses to hang around guys like me that just love roasting him.
Was he running VP in them jet skis down there in the Gulf of Mexico?
He said, absolutely. Absolutely. All the way up to the sandbar that he parked it up on. Twice.
All right, man. Well, cool. Appreciate your time, as always. Don't forget, everybody, whoever is pre-registered to race Full Gas Sprint Enduro this weekend, you are automatically entered to win a free-to-you class with Stu Baylor. Stu hosting a riding clinic Friday and Saturday, racing on Saturday and Sunday. Anything else that I missed?
That's all I can think of.
You're calling the winner personally? Is that what I heard?
I will call them personally. You let me know who it is, and I will pick up the phone. I'll call them tomorrow morning, tonight, whenever.
I think it'll probably. When should we do it? Thursday?
Sooner the better. Honestly, we probably need to do it tomorrow because I'm sitting here thinking about it. Obviously, we're going to have more entries now because people are clearly going to want to get in on this riding school. So I'd say by tomorrow night, we need to have the guys figured out. That way, if they are coming Friday, they can have their extra work off and get there for Friday.
All right. So Wednesday, March the 16th at 6 p.m. Does that sound good?
Perfect.
Must
Sounds
be pre-registered by Wednesday, March 16th at 6 p.m. to be registered to win. We will draw a random winner out of the pre-entries, and you will be called by a South Carolina number. Don't send it to spam. It's Stu Baylor letting you know you won.
Yep, perfect. And I know this is probably the worst thing that you want to hear, but I am doing another podcast tomorrow night. So if anybody else wants to hear me talk shit, I'm going to jump on the Split Line Off-Road podcast and try something different. Obviously, this is my home. I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry, T-Shep. But I don't know what questions to ask. I don't know what they're going to go for. I'm kind of concerned because I feel like with you, I can just talk shit on anybody. There, it may be frowned upon. Not really sure, but trying something new. And then obviously, we want to keep these podcasts coming. So I really. Anybody who wants to get involved in these podcasts, any pros that happen to listen in, call up Tyler. Like, if you want to jump in here and you want to talk with us, like, I'm all for it. I'd love to see another pro rider jump in. It's not doors open, but I want to see the pros try to start promoting this sport a little bit better. I think that's kind of been a big disconnect and a major spot that we're lacking. So jump in, jump on, even if 2 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you want to make it. Have fun, speak your mind. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. By all means.
All right. So, well, I will. I'll catch you this weekend. I'll be down there. You're gonna come from my riding school. I do not actually. I don't think you have the skill set, and I don't think I can help you that much.
The tables have turned. This is way more fun when you're roasting everybody else. No, so this weekend, dude, I'm actually loading up the beta. It'll be my first time back on a bike. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm gonna see if I can get a boot on.
Now I'm jealous. Well, you better come to the riding school. As a matter of fact, it might very much so need to happen. I'm kind of scared for you.
So that way,
are you running sweep, or are you actually going to race?
That way, when I suck, I can just blame it on my leg and not
exactly.
riding.
So, are you sweeping, or are you actually racing?
I think I'm announcing and running social media, and then just riding when I can.
Perfect. Well, sounds like you'll have a good enduro test to ride, and I'll be sitting on the sidelines. So. Don't brag about how great it is if it is. Just tell me it sucks either way.
You're living vicariously through all your people you're coaching, remember?
There you go.
And then I'll be on the mic and I'll tell you that it sucks, so that way you don't feel like you're listening.
Yeah, as long as you can do that for me.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right, awesome.
All right, man. We'll see you this weekend. Thank you.
All right.